Hello friends, you're welcome to my channel today with me. I want to especially thank my subscribers. Thank you so very much for all of your support. God bless you. And if today is your first time of tuning this channel, you are welcome. Please do well to hit the subscription button and tap on the bell by the side to get an update whenever I upload a new video. So today I will be teaching how you can draft a perfect fitted trouser. So stay with me as I continue. So for this trouser, these are the measurements I will be using to cut this trouser. I just put it in a very short form. You see, the first one here is length. I just write L, 1.5 inch slash. So this 1.5 inch is my band length. Then slash 9. This 9 inches is my hip length. Slash 22. The 22 is my knee length. Slash 40.5. The 40.5 is my full length of trouser. So I have my hip circumference here, 48 inches. I have my waist circumference, 39 inches. I have my thigh, you can call it lap, 29 inches. I have my knee measurements here, 21 inches. Now, this is my ankle. Because of the size of this paper, I have to write it here. I call it instep. So these are the measurements we'll be needing, the important measurement for this trouser. So this is my pattern paper. I'm going to draft this trouser here. Then I will transfer it to my fabric for you to see clearly. This line you're seeing here, this line at the upper part, this will be my starting point. And I rule another line here by the side close to me. So this will be the side of my pants. You can call it trouser, you can call it pants. Now I'm going to start by checking my measurements like this. So I will minus the band length from this upper part now. Then I will quickly mark my crotch length. Now this is the method I like using. I said, if you have not watched the measurements of this trouser I'm cutting, please do well to watch the video. It's on my channel, how to take a trouser measurement. I like using this method, dividing the hip into 4 and use 1/4 of it. I've been using it for years now and it has not failed me. So I'm going to be using that same method. So my hip circumference here is 48. 48 divided by 4, that will give me 12 inches. So I'm going to mark my 12 inches like this, minus 1.5 inch bind. If you want your bind to be 1/4, you can as well minus the 1/4. If you want your band to be 2 inches, you can also minus the 2 inches band from this crotch length. I'm going to shift it to this side and minus the 1.5 also, and mark my 12 inches like this, so that we'll have a straight line. Then I will take it down. Now I can mark the knee length. I measure the knee length here, but I want to show you another method how you can calculate your knee length. So the full length of this trouser is 40.5 inches. So I'll mark my 40.5 this way, and I will add a 2 inches seam allowance to hem the down part. So I'm marking the full length and 2 inches allowance. I will also place my tape by the side like this and mark 40.5 and add 2 inches seam allowance. Then I'm going to rule all of this line together before we can calculate the knee line. So I just finished connecting the lines together. Now how you can calculate the knee if you forget to measure the knee. You place your tape. This is my crotch length and this is my full length of the trouser. You place your tape like so from the crotch length to the full length, and you fold your tape this way. This is the midpoint of this two lengths. from the midpoint, you come up by 2 inches like this. This method has been working for a very long time. We'll never have any problem with it. This is how you can calculate your knee length if you forget to measure the knee length. But for this one, I measure knee length, so I will be using my knee length 22 inches. I'm going to mark like this. So you see the difference between this and this. That is why it's good to measure, but if you forget, you can use this method and it will work for you. The difference between this and this is not much, so if you forget to measure, you can use this method. Rule a straight line to connect it now. So this is my knee length. So the next line I will be marking here now is my hip line. So my hip length here is 9 inches. I'm going to still minus that 1.5 inch as my band. So I will mark my 9 inches like this. Then I will rule. I'm going to connect it. So this is my hip line. I call it hip length. So I just indicate all my lines: the waist line, hip line, crotch length, knee length, and the ankle length. Now I want to curve my crotch. So I'm going to use my hip circumference divided by 4. I'm going to mark ½ inch here by the side. This ½ inch for me to stitch the side. So from the ½ inch now, I'm going to insert my hip circumference divided by 4, like this, 12 inches. Then I will mark my crotch extension 2 inches. I see now 2 inches. But if you're doing it for a slim person, you can use 1.5 inches. So for this my hip circumference, I'm going to take it to this upper part. I will mark the 12 inches from this line now, the 12 inches like this. But I will not add this ½ inch that I added here on the crotch length. I'm not going to add it here. On my hip length, I can add that ½ inch. So I'm going to connect this line like this now. I'm going to connect it to my waistline like this. Then I will come to this waistline. I will go in by ½ inch like this, and I will slant it. I'm going to slant the waist this way. Okay. I can use my curve roller to curve my this. Let me extend this line like this. Okay. So my curve is going to be like this. Like this. So this is the shape of my crotch now. You can use your dotted line. Okay, I like what I'm seeing here. This is the shape of my crotch. Now I will come to the side. How to get the waist from this line, this ½ inch that I go in, I'm going to mark my waist circumference divided by 4. 39 divided by 4 will give me a 9¾ So I'm going to mark 9¾ like this. At this point, if you want to add that to your front trouser, you can add 1 inch to it by the side now. You can add 1 inch to it, but I don't want this one to have that. It's only at the back that I will add that to it. So from this point now, I can connect my hand. I will use my dotted line and curve a very beautiful hip shape like this. I see now, hip shape like this. Now I want to explain something to you before I move on to this part. This method that I'm using here is normal trouser length method. That your trouser will be on your novel. That is what I'm using here. You see my hip divided by 4. I just minus the waistband only. Please pay good attention, because these are the things that cause problem. When you make trouser, your trouser will not fit perfectly. Now, if you want your trouser to be low waist trouser, do you understand me? Like your lower abdomen. You're going to, when you're marking this crotch length, make sure you minus, after the waistband that you minus, also minus 1 inch from your measurement. Take away 1 inch from your crotch measurement. Like for instance, this my crotch measurement is 12 inches. I minus a waistband of 1.5 and I mark 12 inches. In that case, if you're using a low waistband, you're going to use 11 inches, not 12 inches, if you're making it for this size of person. But if you're making it for a slim person, just calculate your measurement that way. Make sure you move 1 inch from it if you're using it for low waist pants. But if you're using it for high waist pants, that one will be another tutorial, because I don't want to confuse you. I want you to get this one first, because there is a way you're going to calculate it to make the high waist also fit you. But this method I'm showing you here is from the novel length. That is the method I'm giving you here. So let me move. At this point now, I will also check my lap. That is my thigh measurement divided by 2. And so if you come down by 2 inches immediately after the crotch length like this, let me just rule it a bit, or your lap divided by 2. Now I'm going to mark mine here like this. Now I'm going to add that a half inch also. So I'm going to add a half inch. So you see that it's okay with this crotch line. It's okay. If you don't want to add a half inch, you can also connect with this one. Your trouser will still fit. Are you seeing now? Are you seeing now? Your trouser will still fit. Now I'm going to move to the knee length. So this is my knee length. At this point, from this knee length, I'm going to check this measurement here. The hip circumference, not the crotch extension, the hip circumference. What I have here is 13 inches. I will fold an inch measure, just fold it like this. This is my midpoint. So I will check the midpoint. What I have now is 6.5 inches. Now 6.5 inches, I'm going to divide it. So this knee length, I'm going to divide it by 2. 6.5 like this. I will mark the down part 6.5. Then I will rule a straight line to connect this and this together. So this is the center of my pants now. Why I rule a straight line at the center? You see, the waist measurement was divided by 4. The hip measurement was divided by 4. From this point now, the knee and the ankle, the measurement will be divided by 2, not by 4. So before I move to the knee, let me explain something at this crotch length. I told you if you're using it for a slim person, you can use a 1.5. But this one now is 2 inches here. Now, if you're using it for someone that hip is up to 50 something, please make it 2.5 inches. Don't use 2 inches, yeah? My knee measurement is 21 inches. 21 inches divided by 2. That will give me 10.5 inches. 10.5 inches. So I'm going to place my tape at this center line now. Then that 10.5 inches, I'm going to divide it by 2 again. So I'll be using a 5 1/4 this way, 5 1/4 this way. Now if I check from this point to this point, I will have that 10.5 inches. That 10.5 inches like this. This is the reason for the center line. Then I will move to the ankle length. The instep. The ankle length is 13 inches. 13 inches divided by 2. First of all, divide it by 2. That will give me 6.5 inches. 6.5 inches. I'm going to divide it by 2 again. So from this center line, I'll be using a 3 1/4 also. I'm going to mark 3 1/4 this way. Then I will mark 3 1/4 this way. If I check from this point to this point, it will still be the 6.5 inches. Now, I will extend it to this down part. Let me extend the line to this down part. And I will also impute my 3 1/4 this way. 3 1/4 this way. Then I will rule. I will connect it like this. Now, to this down part, the hem line, what you can do, you can extend it by 1/2 inch this way. Leave this side alone, just this part, extend it by 1/2 inch, so that when you hem this down part to join with this line, so that you don't have shortage here. Now I'm going to connect these lines together now. From this ankle line, I will connect it to the knee line. I'll use my straight ruler to connect it like this. Then I will come to this I'll come to this part now. From the ankle line, I'm going to connect it also. I'm going to connect it also to my knee line like this. So I see the shape of my pants. Now I will connect it to the crotch line. If you want to extend that ½ inch, fine. I think I don't need it. I'm going to follow this one. I'll connect it like this. So I like this shape now. Then I will extend this one now. This is my crotch line. I'm going to extend it. Just shift your ruler. Make sure you capture the side seam very well, like this. Then I will blend it to the hip line. So this is the shape of my pant. Are you seeing now? Now, if you can remember, I did not add any seam allowance apart from the ½ inch seam allowance that I added to the by the side here, the crotch length and also the hip length. But the waist length, I did not add any seam allowance to it because the back will give me the allowance that I will use to sew the waist. Now, why I added this ½ inch here, if anything goes wrong, there will be no allowance to amend this part through the crotch. The crotch has no allowance. You understand me? So that is why it's important to add this ½ inch here. Very, very important. Now I'm going to shift it down. Then I will come to my waistline. This is very important. I'm going to add ½ inch to my pant waist. I will add ½ inch this way, ½ inch this way. Then I will roll my line like this. I see now. So this ½ inch now is what will help me join the waistline. Let me extend it to the side. The waistline. Remember, the allowance at the down part is just to hem the trouser at the down. So this is the allowance that will help me join the waist. Now for your crotch to fit well, I'm going to come down by 1½ inches. I see now, 1½ inches. I'm extending the waistline to the ½ inch that I added here. This is what I just did. So I'm going to blend my hand. Now I will blend it this way. Okay, I'll use this one. And make sure I connect it to the waistline. So the ½ inch, just at this point alone, I've already taken it out by removing 1½ inch here. To make your crotch fit perfectly. There are other things that we'll do again to make the crotch fit, but that will be when I finish cutting the back side. Now I won't cut this part now. This 1½ inch that I mark here, I will not cut it. I will leave it first until I cut the back. So I'm going to cut out my pattern now. When you finish drafting this pattern, before you cut, please, you can extend your hand. Just add another ½ inch like this to it. See, because there is no allowance here to amend it. I see now. You can blend it this way. Why I'm doing this, there is no allowance here to amend this crotch. So if anything goes wrong, you will not see any allowance in. In case your client told you that this part is very tight, you can fall back to this ½ inch to release a little allowance. But if you follow the measurement perfectly and draft your pants perfectly, it's going to fit. There will be no amendments on this crotch line. I'm telling you out of experience. But for safety, you need to add that ½ inch. So I'm going to cut my pants now. I will start from the down part. I will follow that ½ inch that I added there. I follow the normal line. Okay, I follow the ½ inch extension also. Then I will follow the side like this. Follow the waistline. Sorry, I said I'm not going to cut the waist. I will still leave it like this. Let me take the normal waistline out like so. I said I was not going to cut the waist. Just add my scissors there. So I will cut it now, the crotch, like this. Okay. So you see the curve that I have there. Now at this point, I will take out this flap allowance. This is where we'll cut the flap from. I'm going to take it out. You can check it, make sure it's 2 inches. Just cut 2 inches. Like this, follow the line. This is what I will use for the flap. I will keep it aside. I'm going to cut it too. Now I'll move to the back. So I just place the front now on the back panel. So I will come to this back line now. I'm going to add 2 inches to my crotch length, 2 inches like this. Then I will blend it to this normal length. The 2 inches is just at the crotch line. So I'm going to blend it like this. So I'll be using normal length by the side. Are you seeing now? Now I will come to the side. Remember that we did not add that allowance to the front because there will be no darts in front. But the back, I'm going to add 1 inch that allowance. So I'm going to extend that waistline to this point now, the 1 inch. Then I will blend it to the hip line. I'm going to blend it to the hip line. Are you seeing now? Because my dart will stop before the hip line, like 4 inches. So this point now, I'll blend it like this. So this is what I'll use for my dart. Now I will extend this line like this so that we'll be seeing it well. Let me shift it down, please. Sorry. I will extend this line to the hip point first. So I hope you're seeing this part clearly. The way I slanted the back line, I added 2 inches to this crotch line and I connect it to the waistline because this waist, front and back, need to be joined together. So you don't need to extend these 2 inches up to this point. And I just added that allowance to the back by the side. I blend it to the hip length. So these 2 inches that I added here, if you want your trouser not to be too high, like if you sit, the trouser should sag a bit. You know what I mean? You can use 1.5 inch to blend this crotch length at the back, the waistline. Use 1.5 inch. Now I will come to my crotch line. I'm going to extend the crotch line. I'm going to extend it straight first. Now, at this point, I will add 1.5 inch like this. 1.5 inch. I see now. I will come to the waistline also. At the back, I will add 1.5 inch like this, and I will blend this 2 inches in. Then I will connect it to these 2 inches like so. Now, the back crotch extension. This line that I have here, the center line from the knee, I'm going to extend it to this point. That's same as 6.5 inches. I'm going to extend it to this point. So when you extend it to this crotch length, you now impute your hip circumference. The hip circumference now, you're not taking it from the side again. I'm going to take it from this center, the center like this. So my hip is 48 inches. 48 inches divided by 4. So that will give me 12 inches. So I'm going to mark my 12 inches this way. This is how you get your back, your crotch at the back, the extension, so that you can sit with your trouser. It's very, very important. So check your measurements, whatever you have. Find the midpoint. From the midpoint, you get the hip circumference, quarter of the hip circumference. Don't start from the side. If you start from the side, you will have a problem there. So this is my back crotch now. And from this point now, I can use my dotted line this way. I see now. Okay, I like this one here. So this is the shape of my back crotch. Now, by the side, I'm going to add 1.5 inch. Remember that while I was cutting this trouser, I did not add seam allowance to this side. So you see this 1.5 is very, very important. Just add 1.5 inch to this part. See, down like this, add 1.5 inch, and you connect and you connect all of these lines together, the 1.5 inch. Just blend it together like this. Blend it like this. Then you connect it to your crotch line. Are you seeing now? You see the way I'm placing my ruler? You connect it to your crotch line this way. If you want to shape it a bit, you can also do it this way. Are you seeing now? Make sure you don't go till the crotch line. You can go it this way. I think I will work with this shape now, the second one. So I'm going to extend this line like this. Now I will move again to the upper part. How to find the center of my back so that I can mark the darts. So I will measure all of this. This is 12 1/4. I'm going to fold my tape like this and mark the center of it. So this center will be the dart line. Now I can lift my back panel like this. Let me move it a bit and mark my dart. My dart is going to be 4 inches dart at the back, 4 inches. So I will connect it to this point. Then you know our normal way, I'm going to mark 1/2 inch this way, 1/2 inch this way. Then I will connect it like so. And blend it like this. So this is the shape of my dart at the back. When cutting it, I'm going to fold this dart in like this before I cut this waist, so that I will not have shortage. Now another thing I'm going to show you now, for the crotch at the back and front to join together, when you're joining it together, for the line to be equal. So instead of going straight now, I'm going to go in from this crotch line by 3/4 of an inch. You can use 1/2 inch. So my crotch will not go straight. My crotch will go like this. I will quickly blend it. I will not go far. I will quickly blend it like this. So this is the shape of my crotch from the 1/2 inch. Are you seeing now? This is the only way that the front and back will be equal. So I want to cut out my trouser now. I'll start from this side like this. Now when I get to this dart line, I fold the dart in. Then I will cut the waist so that I will not have a shortage at the waistline. But even if you mistakenly cut it, you can manipulate it. Now I will cut out the back panel like this. Follow this one. Then I will cut out the down part. So you remember the flap turn up that I cut at the front. I'm going to double it now. I want to make it 2 pieces. Okay, you fold it like this and make it 2 pieces. Make sure you cut both of them together like this, so that if you're using it on a fabric that has a front and back, it will go well. So I will keep it aside. So I'll come back to this front now and take away this our 1.5 inch. You remember, 1.5 inch like this. So you see the shape of my trouser. Now, when taking that out from the waistline, I'm going to come down by 1 inch like this. So I want to make this crotch to fit well. You see the way the waist is, more especially for a mature people. You see that the tummy is a bit high, but here it's very low. Are you seeing now? Okay. So for me to have a fitted trouser, for my crotch to fit well, I'm going to go in by 3/4 of an inch. You can go in by 1/2 inch. Now this waistline, don't touch it please. So from this point, I will connect it like this and blend it to my waistline, because I will not want to touch. That is why I came down by 1 inch. So from this point now, I cannot blend my hand again and blend it to the crotch length. So this excess should be taken out. So if you want your crotch to fit well in front, please take out this excess. And very, very important. So I'm going to cut it out now. So I cannot cut this thing now until I finish drafting the trouser, I finish cutting the back. It's very, very important before you can remove this, so that you get this back perfectly. So when you finish removing this now, the next thing to mark is the pockets. So from the front, I'm going to mark my pockets now. My pocket length is 6 inches. I'll mark 6 inches like this. Then I will go to the waistline. If you want to use 2 inches, you can use it, but I would like to use 2.5 because I want the pocket to show very well, since there will be no darts at the front. So you can give it any shape. You can curve it, or you give it a V shape. From this line, you just give it a V shape. If you want to give a V shape, this is what you should have, like this. I see now. Sorry for my marker. So at this point, I'm going to remove the front from the back. I'll just cut it out like this. I'm using the V shape now. I'll cut it out like so. So I can take the back out and come to pockets. Now I just fold my pattern paper into two like this. The length of this pocket, I'll be using 13 inches. So this is 13 inches. I'm going to mark like this, 13 inches. Now the width is going to be 13 inches. So since it's on fold, it's going to be 6.5 like this. So I will mark 6.5. Then I will connect it like so. Then I will come to the down part. I'm going to come up by 2 inches. You can use 2.5, you can use 2 inches. So I'll just give it a curve like this. Take it out like this now. Then I will cut the side, then the length, and the side. Now I'm going to bring my paper like this now. So you have to check front, this in front. I see now one side, I open the pocket, I see now. So I'm going to cut it out like this. Now it's going to be like this. So this one, so this side now, this side that I did not cut is going to complete the waist that we remove by the side. Are you seeing now? So this is what will help me complete it. And another thing you need to know, that the pocket will be two. I'm going to cut another one of it. One will be by this side, one will be by this side. The same thing to this pattern. You know, we divided the measurement, the parts into 4, this side into 2. So I'm going to cut another leg. This is one leg of it. So the same thing to the pocket, since it's going to be 2 side pockets. And so I will transfer all of my pattern to fabric. This is my flap. This is my flap. I'm going to transfer all of them. Thank you so very much for watching. See you in my next video. Make sure you watch the part 2, the sewing of the trouser. Thank you.